Hi, welcome to Momentum Monday. I'm Dana Middleton, your host. Today, we are taking a question from one of the lovely members of our community who was so great to suggest this, and I think it's going to resonate with lots of people out there. I know it's resonated with me many times in my creative life, and this is what she said. She said, "Can we tap on when your career disappoints you? When you feel like things will never happen for you, even when you're trying to stay positive, to manifest, to hustle, etc." Have you ever felt like this? I mean, haven't we all felt that way, that we're doing everything right? We are being so positive. We are hustling. We're doing all the things we're supposed to do, and things don't seem to click. And that can be really, really, really frustrating. And it makes you feel disappointed, and you can even expect to feel disappointed. And that's the worst when you start expecting to feel disappointed, right? That's something that's just kind of now on a loop. And that doesn't feel good. It feels frustrating. And there are ways for us to use tapping and other tools to unwind this, to kind of untangle it. Because when you get into a momentum of disappointment, it feels terrible. For sure, it feels terrible, and you also feel like I said I wrote down some notes, and I wanted to look down just to be sure I don't miss anything. Disappointment happens when the world doesn't give you what you want when you want it, right? We want what we want when we want it, and when we don't get it, we can start to not only feel disappointed, but we can start to feel self-doubt. We can start to think like, well, what's the point? Why am I even doing this? We can start to feel victimized by the thing that we love. And that's no fun. And it really brings us into a negative vibration. And when we get into a negative vibration, our life just kind of grinds to a halt. So we don't want that to happen. And if it's already happened, that's okay. You can shift this. You can reframe this. You can create new patterns and habits. But I want to talk, first of all, about a few reasons that we do feel disappointment. One of them, and it's probably a very common one, is you felt disappointed as a child. Think about it. You wanted something as a kid, and because of money or because of circumstances or because of whatever, you didn't get it. And you felt so disappointed. When that happens as a child, sometimes that feels safe. I know that sounds weird, but because it happened and we survived it, we come to think that's maybe what we deserve. And it's like the condition of our childhood, which we project into adulthood all the time. It could be disappointment, it could be anything that you projected into childhood. So it could be something that you either felt acutely as a child being disappointed, or maybe you had family members or parents who you witnessed being disappointed, going for what they wanted, and they got disappointed. And so back in the there in your mind, you thought, oh, if I go for what I want, I'm going to get disappointed just like them. Or I better be disappointed just like them, because if my dreams come true, it isn't fair to them. Guess what, guys? We are peeling the onion of kind of our psyche, of what we believe, of our subconscious mind, and it's different for everybody. If there was one size fits all, I'd be a gazillionaire, you know, uh, but it's not, and our lives would be easier. But they're not sometimes, because you have to be the Sherlock Holmes in your own life. And that means, what was your childhood like? Where did disappointment start? Where did that come from? Maybe you came from a long line of disappointed people. You got to go back and check this stuff out. But if you have a pattern, or if you have something that's really played out in your family, it can be hard to shake. And that's why you have to give it some attention to shake it. You can't go into the same auditions, or sending your screenplays out, or whatever you may be doing, going into meetings and having that already kind of chip on your shoulder of, I'm going to be disappointed, or how's this going to go wrong? Somehow, through tapping perhaps, and other tools, you you got to focus on what you want instead of what has happened in the past. The past is over. I know this is more challenging than I may be saying, because I know it's challenging. But I also know for myself, because I got into a big pattern of disappointment in my life, that when I stopped focusing on the disappointment and started focusing on being lighter and believing that my life is good as it is now. Things really changed for me. It takes some focus and some redirection, kind of like redirecting a toddler, but we have to do that for ourselves. So that's the first reason we get disappointed because we have a belief system that really supports that, that believes we're going to be disappointed. And if that's true for you, acknowledge it. And we're going to tap on it in just a few minutes. Also, number two, disappointment could be keeping you safe. All right. So it could be on some subconscious level safer not to succeed, not to shine, not to get what you want, because maybe it will threaten someone else or even hurt someone else. If you believe that, then why would you succeed? Relationships are what are important. Our tribe, original tribe, that's what's important. That's where we feel we are safe. So if we threaten that, we might use disappointment as a way to say, well, it didn't work anyway, so I'll just give this up and, do something else. If that resonates, just think about it. Maybe do some journaling about it. Who would be threatened by your success? Who wouldn't like it if you succeeded? Where does that come from? All right. And another, maybe we'll call the third reason you might be disappointed is just timing. Doesn't mean anything's going wrong. It's just not the time yet. It's not the project yet. It's not the situation yet. And that's great as long as you don't keep score. But often we are just too impatient for that. What if this thing that is mine is 5 or 10 years down the road? Oh my gosh, I am keeping score now, and that's just not okay. I need this to happen now. So, yeah, you may need this to happen now, but that may not be your journey or the best journey or the highest journey or even the journey that you came in seeking. I know this may sound a little woo woo, but you know what? Think about it. I mean, like, what if everything's fine and you're just making it unfine because you're impatient? We're all impatient, especially as artists. We do our thing and we want it to be in the world in a certain way, but we don't know the big picture. We're not looking down at the big tapestry of our lives and going like, oh, that's why that happened. So maybe adding some trust into this equation can help. And, if something doesn't work the way you want it, just be like, okay, next, next. All right, I know everything's working out. And it may be working out in a way that you don't really understand yet. I came to Los Angeles to be a screenwriter. Now, I had some limited success that way, but I'd never got anything produced, and I felt very frustrated sometimes. So I didn't really know what to do with that. Cut to now, years and years later, I write books for kids. And how that happened, I could have never planned, but it's given me a lot of satisfaction and I really enjoy doing it. That doesn't mean I may never write screenplays. I might again. I'm open to that. But I don't have the pressure on it or the need for it like I used to because I was flexible enough to pivot. And I think pivoting is really smart sometimes. Sometimes we have to listen to the universe about what it's bringing us instead of what we're insisting upon. So instead of focusing maybe on the results or how the outcome has to be, why don't you focus on what you want that outcome to bring you as far as how you want it to feel? That was a very long run-on sentence, but how does this outcome that you want, how do you expect that it will make you feel? Probably happy, satisfied, engaged. It'll make you feel good. Well, guess what? You can feel all those feelings now. You can focus on gratitude and where you are satisfied right now, every day. And as you focus on feeling satisfied, well, guess what happens? You know, you will attract to you circumstances that feel satisfying, maybe even in your career. Now, it might not be exactly where you thought you were going, but does it matter as long as you're happy and feeling satisfied and engaged and creative and it's all working out really well? Sometimes you got to kind of go with the flow, go with life and be willing to be flexible, be willing to pivot and see what's behind like door number two. Doesn't mean that you're giving up or quitting. It just means you're open. And sometimes that's what the journey of life requires is a certain amount of flexibility and openness. because when we're holding on so tightly, right, disappointment is really like very accessible because it's got to be this way. So whenever you feel disappointed, maybe you can tap or just acknowledge, oh, I'm really needing this to be a certain way. And what if I can loosen my grip a little bit? What if I can trust the journey a little bit more? What if I can breathe? One thing I learned is, oh, if you go into put your hands in your ears and just pull down in your ears and breathe. It's a good way to calm yourself down. When you're too grippy, calm yourself down. It's okay to be right where I am. Give that a try. See how it feels. Okay, these are just some things to think about. If you don't feel comfortable tapping on your own, journal all the feelings and then go back and tap them on these tapping points. If you lose the tapping points or don't remember them, you can go to thealignedartist.com. I have a tapping section that has the points, and you can do this. There is no way to get it wrong. Just tap on meridian points, express your feelings. When you're expressing them, when you're tapping, you're breaking them up, you're not affirming them. So it's okay to do that. We don't want to just bury what doesn't feel good. You don't want to bury your disappointment. You want to say, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. In fact, we're going to start right there. I'm going to make it really simple for you so you can come back to this. I'm not even going to do anything on the karate chop point today. I want you to focus on the last thing that disappointed you. And we're going to go right there. Whether it was an audition if you're an actor, whether it was you didn't sell a book if you're a writer or a script, or you didn't get a job as a director, or you didn't, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. You know that disappointment. So let's take a moment and just tune into it. Close your eyes and think about that thing that really disappointed you. Where do you feel it? In your heart, in your stomach, maybe a tenseness in your throat? And let's just start tapping on it. And this you can do in your car, not while you're driving, just anywhere. I feel so disappointed. I'm disappointed in my career. I'm disappointed that this happened, or rather didn't happen. All this disappointment. I feel it in my body. Take a breath. I've come to expect it. I mean, I have been so good and so prepared, and still I got disappointed. I got rejected. Or at least it feels like I got rejected, which has made me doubt the whole thing. I mean, what's the point anyway? If I did the best I could do and I still didn't get that, well, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Keep breathing. All this disappointment and expectation of being disappointed. I mean, it's not even fun anymore. All this fear of disappointment, which makes me guard my heart. And my heart needs to be open to be the artist who I really am. Well, I've gone down this disappointment rabbit hole and it really sucks. Okay, so that's airing it out. And you can do that over and over and over again as much as you need to, because you don't want to sit on these feelings. You want to tap them out. But let's do a little reframing right now and see if we can find a little relief. But what if it really isn't about me? I'm not getting rejected. It's just not the right situation yet for me. Or maybe I don't feel deserving of getting what I want because of my childhood, because of my family. And it's really time to reframe that now. Because what if I'm deserving of what I want? What if we all are? And what if it could be safe to have what I want? And just keep going with a lightness that doesn't bog me down. Okay, I know that may feel far-fetched right now. You may be yawning. That's a good sign. You're moving energy. But think about ways you can reframe how you're looking at your creative career, right? Are you going in feeling like, oh, this is fun? Or are you going in feeling like, oh my gosh, this is never going to happen? Or I want this so bad it'll break my heart if it doesn't. Oh, what if I can be a little lighter? What if it doesn't have to break my heart every single time? What if I can relax? What if instead of focusing so hard on the outcome, I focus on having a good time? I focus on being present and alive. I focus on the play again. I take the pressure off. And then I have a much better chance of getting into the flow. Okay, yawn, breathe. Maybe this is resonating. Maybe this is giving you just a little opening to see things differently. So, one thing I need to do for sure is to let this disappointment down, like to let it go. This expectation of disappointment not serving me. How can I change? How can I focus on feeling satisfied and good no matter what's happening out there? Because nobody out there is in charge of my vibration. And if my vibration is really good, then good things are going to come. Maybe not exactly the ones I expected, but good nevertheless. Maybe ultimately even better for me. So instead of focusing on the outcome, I'm going to focus on my vibration. Make it a priority to feel good, no matter what's happening out there. As I feel good, as I feel satisfied, just as I am in this very moment, I am telling the universe that I expect things that satisfy me, that I expect good things in my life, good things in my career. And I am willing to be flexible enough and open enough to receive them in the right time. Okay. Oh, take a yawn. How did that feel today? That was a little longer today, but I felt like this is such a huge topic. It's going to take a lot more than this tapping, and you can come back to this anytime. How did it feel, you guys who are live? Did it resonate with you? Did this help? Did it maybe open up a little space to maybe just see things differently, feel things differently, to go into situations differently? Be a little lighter. Go ahead and be in the energy you want to be in. And now we don't need to wait until you get something because you know that outcome, that external world outcome thing is fleeting anyway. It'll make you feel good for a little bit and then you'll go back to the same patterns. So why not now clean up these patterns by tapping them, acknowledging them, gently letting them go, investigating them. That's why the journaling can be so helpful. It's like, why do I feel like it's unsafe to really be successful or to shine? Why do I so need to feel disappointed? Where did that habit come from? And is it possible to let it go? Is it safe to let it go? Where am I being impatient? Where am I not trusting the timing? Right. That's your homework if you choose to do it. Anyway, let me know if you have questions. This is great. I'm so glad you were here today. If you're watching on the replay, I'm thrilled that you are part of this community. And please let me know how all of this tapping works and if you have topics you would like for us to cover here. Right. Have a wonderful week. Be really gentle with yourself, and I will see you next time.